Welcome back to another episode of the DNC Reviews podcast. I am Arjun. As you know, we also have Ronan and Seung with us here today, per usual. And today we are doing a very special episode, a very special review of an album that released this past Thursday, which was my birthday. And it's actually my own album called My Last Fever Dream.
It just is what it is. I saw life what it was. Never needed help or a hug.
It's only a 15-minute project. It shouldn't be that laborious, so it should be all right. We're gonna give it a live review, and then afterwards we're gonna give our thoughts, and then we're gonna do a little bit of a Q&A session, and yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. So we're gonna do the first song. It Is What It Is.
I saw life what it was. Never needed help or a hug. Long days running through the mud.
I think to start off, can you explain what this song is about?
I mean, this song, I wrote it during, you know how I think of, quarantine and, so that this was written in March, April phase, and it was just sort of a reflection on pretty much everything that had happened up to that point throughout the year, whether it was, relationships with friends, with family, how I would view myself, and the way that I wanted it to be recorded. It's as if I'm talking to someone who I've had conflict with. This song is about, a certain someone who I haven't always been on the same page with, and this is me sort of responding to them. You take lines that you bite the hand that feeds you all because you think it's legal. That was a hard line to write. I think it was me finally explicitly saying, enough is enough. You can't really, you can't always get what you want, and you can't always have control over another person. A theme that's sort of run throughout my entire life is always coming second. So I just really wanted to highlight how that theme applied to my own life. And so I wanted this song to act as a pacemaker. That's sort of the idea behind the song.
I've got a lot of DMs from my friends asking who produced the songs on the album, because this is really different style.
Yeah.
I've never heard from you, so I was just wondering, where'd you get those
Yeah.
ideas from?
I want to give a really big shout out. His producer name is Yippee the Producer. I met him online on Instagram, and he's just sort of been able to take my ideas and create these fantastic beats. He's really just been the glue that's put the project together. Even though it was a collaborative effort with the beats, he handled a majority of a lot of it. So big shout out to him. I'm glad that we were able to achieve that sort of feeling so effortlessly. So yeah, the next song is called The Thrill, so we're gonna get into that.
Gotta keep my mental through this whole thing. I'm just trying to pass, this ain't a home game.
Well, this one, there was also a chorus. Gotta keep my mental through this whole thing. I'm just trying to pass, this ain't a home game. If you know anything about basketball, a home game is where you have an advantage. The theme that sort of runs through this whole album is I'm just trying to pass, I'm just trying to get through. Yeah, during the quarantine, mental health was not at its highest point. So I just wrote this song as a response to what I was feeling at the time. I was just so out of it. I really wanted to not hold back and be super truthful about what was going on with myself. But at the same time, I wanted to mask it by just keeping it really short and sweet. So do you guys have any other thoughts about the song itself?
When I heard this song, I was getting kind of New York vibes, the Spike Lee mention, or and the beat to me sounded like it would fit in a Spike Lee movie, or just a whole basketball outdoor street ball scenery, or maybe the New York subway.
I didn't pick up on that. That's actually pretty cool. The Spike Lee name drop was obviously a shout out to New York. I'm a Knicks fan, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I didn't really pick up on that. If there was one song that I would tie back to my roots back in the city, that this would be the one. So the next song is Crime of the Decade, my personal favorite. So let's get right into it.
Sweating and my knees hurt. Name on a t-shirt. Surely paid my brother.
First time that my producer sent me this loop, I was like, this is disgusting. This is gonna fit so nicely. This is gonna be the song. And I knew that I had to write lyrics that would do the beat justice. So I just went super abstract with everything. Half of these lyrics, if you read them straight off, you're this doesn't really make a lot of sense. But every single line or couplet or triplet has like its own like mini story or like mini meaning within the song itself. Crime of the decade. People are always asking like what is the crime of the decade? The crime of the decade is just doing whatever you want without caring what other people think.
I thought maybe the whole vibe of the song would be better if he had a trap beat, but I think a lot of people would disagree to that.
I feel like that, like this song was like the anti turn up song. Like you, like if you're on aux and you put this on, you're getting kicked out of the car. Like there's no way.
Facts, okay.
Was there any intention between like giving this gap between the first verse and the second verse? Because you give this time to like play the beat a little bit, and then you start changing the flow.
Yeah. I mean, the answer is not gonna be as interesting or as profound as you might like, but that was actually a mistake in the song. So what happened was I recorded the first verse, right?
Yeah.
And I had to get on a plane. When I recorded it and sent it, and he sent it back after we worked out all of the kinks with everything, there's like this like 4-bar space that's just open randomly in the middle of the song. I listened to it back. I'm like, it sounds pretty cool. It cuts off and it gives like the audience the time to like think about like what just happened, what was just said. So that's like the artist answer, but the real answer is it was a mistake. Cool. Let's move on to the fourth song, which is Open Mic Night.
I got the bigger bills, bigger check, cheaper thrills. Gotta get with the program if you wish.
So yeah, this song was basically just about like, like you gotta really like take control. Otherwise, you're just gonna be like floating around and not really doing anything. The line that I liked was like, "What's worse, bad news or no news?" Like, say if you're applying to college, would you not apply with the mindset that you're not gonna get in, or would you apply and get rejected? You'll be thinking like, "What if I actually could have gotten in?" Is that feeling worse, or that feeling of like regret and doubt worse than receiving a big fat no? And then for the rest of the song of the second verse, those themes continuing of just self-doubt, self-deprecation. You gotta get your hands on the wheel. You have to be comfortable. So yeah.
I felt like it would have been more deliberate or done better if there was like less ad libs in it. Because like with the production, if there are like vocals or voices inside it, I tend to like the artist should have the raw voice, so that it matches well with the vocal, with the production. But
I think I agree with you. I think that after listening to the entire project back, like especially with this song, I feel like it's a little bit too like heavy. It can get a little like distracting.
Yeah.
In a way. I see what you mean. Let's move on to the next song, which is
It's an easy pill to swallow if you know what's on the other side. I don't like to wallow.
Never been one for faking unless I'm impressing with stress. That line also encapsulates the feelings I was feeling when I was writing this. I don't like to fake. I'm not a fake person, I don't think. I don't like to not be my true self. Like, unless I'm in a situation where I have to impress, or I have to do well, or I have to show up and it's stressful, then I might have to like tap into that more artificial side. So yeah, that sort of dives into my personality as a whole. And then you get to the lines, the last two lines, which are delete forever, watch me sever everything I own. I actually got this idea from DNC, surprisingly enough, because like like when you like delete like a YouTube video, it says like, do you want to like delete forever? I thought that idea was super cool, just like erasing something forever. But yeah, that's bronze. We got 2 more songs to go, so let's get into the interlude, which is, I mean, looking at the streams, it's sort of a fan favorite. We got Fader
Hit the fork, marching at the fader fort. I hate the fourth, just so I can bathe this board. My heater shows the frown of swords.
If you notice, like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I know that you guys are very intentional and analytical and smart, that the first 5 songs are really like heavy on the ears, So then I got together with my guy Gary, right? And we're like, yo, we need to add something that that balances it out. So we found the spaciest, most empty, simplistic yet hard lo-fi instrumental that we could. And the lyrics that I wrote in literally 5 minutes. Yeah, this is also like Hosung mentioned that it was one of his favorites. This is also like one of my top 5 on the album, top 3 maybe. Like you can just chill to it, you know? It's straight vibes. It was just lines that I just like not they're not necessarily nonsense, but they're or nonsensical. They're just like it's all just for fun, you know. Like there's like they don't really coincide with like the darker, more like emotional meanings of the other songs. This is just like oh, I'm just having fun, and I'm actually proud of like the music that I make. Like people don't really understand. It's not like highest quality music, but for Drexxx, like you guys know like how far your boy has come. Like you know, like 2018, man dropped spit checks. Do you guys remember that?
No, I remember the like the Drake song, and you made a remix out of it.
Oh yo, yeah
Wait,
yeah.
what?
No, so we went from
So
doing
really not a Star Wars hat song.
yeah. So we went from doing non-stop remixes to making my own like music that I'm genuinely proud of. Yeah, go ahead.
Dude, I just remember something. The first song I know you made was from our old school notice. The first official beat that you made was with me, I think, in
Oh
fifth grade.
yeah,
You
yeah.
remember that?
Oh my
Oh my.
Yeah.
bro. Like no, like Ronan's basically been there like since the beginning. Like we make shared Google Docs on our school emails and like just write like straight bars. Just like going from dropping music where like I wasn't proud of the music that I put out. I'm not gonna lie, like I was like kind of like depressed like regarding like the stuff that I was putting out, and I was like, is this all that I have to show for like after doing like music seriously since like August 2018, almost 2 years later, like is that what I have to show after such a long period of like when I was supposed to be improving? I'm glad that I got over that hump where I was still talking about like being like rich and shit. But like that wasn't entire like I'm still out here just like straight chilling. But these lyrics have so much more meaning to me as an individual. So yeah, we have one more song to go. Celebration.
Yeah, running by myself, ain't no looking back. Checking on my health, no, I'm good at that. Running.
I felt like that was the best way to like conclude the album. You know, like I had that feeling of like everything's come full circle and now we're at like the end. Like running by myself, ain't no looking back. Checking on my health, like referring to just like eating and just like taking care of myself. Like now, like I'm up, and then I say like, look at me, what like, and I know I gotta get with it. Look at me while I get with it. So it's just saying like, I know what I have to do. It's your job just to watch me, and watch me progress as you just stay in the same position where I left you. Especially like during a time like this when social contact is like restricted, you really got to take care of yourself. So just having this song is like a sense of motivation, inspiration, and just like the beauty of having that realization that it's gonna be okay. You just gotta get started, and once you start, you're already halfway there. So yeah, that's sort of the idea behind this song.
I got some Bound 2 vibes from that.
Mm.
Like full circle, now we in the good place kind of vibes. And yeah, that's what I noticed.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was kind of going for in the sense that like now we're up, you know? Like now we're like chilling. Yeah, it just sounds like a party. And that's just what I wanted to convey.
What's the album cover? Like, what does that
Oh.
represent for the whole album?
Yeah, I actually found it in my house this summer. I finished the album, but I didn't have a cover and I didn't want to like make one. So I was going through old photos, found a baby picture of me like playing with like Play-Doh. I edited it and like with the help of my sister, you'll know Maya obviously. Like she I was like my sister. Like it was originally in color, but she insisted that it should be black and white because it fit the vibe more. And like after looking at it now, like I couldn't agree more. So yeah, that's kind of the idea behind it.
I got some questions for just Drexxx, the artist himself.
Oh, bet.
Um, so who are your main inspirations when it comes to creativity and even the music?
My main inspirations for making music, just other artists. I really like this kid named Red Veil. He's not super popular, but his music just started to pop off. I've been following his music for a long time. I usually don't like to compare myself to other artists, um, but when I compared myself to him, which I do consistently, I sort of use him as like a benchmark. Like, where should I be? That just turned into a project.
Should we do the album rate review?
Yeah, I thought that this album was, in terms of like Drexx's projects, the best so far. I really liked how short it was. Yeah, I really like as a consumer of my own work, like I actually like it, really enjoy it. I've been listening to it, like it's been my soundtrack for the past, like you guys have only had it for like 2 days, but this has been like my soundtrack and my playlist for like the past like 2 months. There are some things I would change. One thing is I would have loved to get someone to feature on here. I felt like since it was only me as a solo project, like um I had a lot of weight to carry. So if I could have one feature artist to like switch it up a little bit, that would have kept the energy up because I felt like the energy sort of died down in the middle of the project, but then it picked up when Fader Fort hit. Yeah, for me just maintaining that energy is a note that I want to carry through with the next project. I would give this album like a solid, like very solid 6.5.
I would just like to say that the production was very solidly executed, um, very well thought out, and a lot of thought put in. And in terms of your personal goal of what you wanted to do with the album, I think you accomplished that. So if I were to rate this album in terms of whether it accomplished its goal, I'll give it like an 8. But as a consumer or like a listener, I wish there was more of a story arc. I feel like the very raw sounds could be balanced out throughout the song more, so there'll be more of a story arc and it'll be more interesting to listen to. It wasn't basic, like it wasn't like your average 16-year-old making beats.
I'm a 16-year-old producer.
Like rapping about the cars and the girls and all that. So with that in mind, I'll give the album a 7 out of 10. Well, actually, no, wait, 7.5 out of 10. And in terms of tips for Drexxx coming up, I think the people will want to listen to one really good song than like a project. And I think for Drexxx, he should just keep experimenting new sounds and different styles and all that. And something that I recommend he could try out is maybe beat switches and all that. And like once you get the attention of the people kind of musically, then the lyrics just go ahead with it and people pick up on the lyrics.
Like no, like that makes perfect sense. Like that's actually a really good piece of advice. Thank you.
For me, it was like really good to listen to. It was fun. I could tell like the quality of the album really improved because I listened to Drexxx for like back in AES, so I know what kind of songs he was listening to and he was making. And yeah, I think album as a whole really flowed really well compared to other albums. Yeah, also the production was really nice. It was really well collaborated. Shout out to Gary.
Shout out to Gary. Let's go.
Shout out to Gary.
Gary, man.
And but yeah, sometimes if I'm listening to this with like the objective lens, I would say a few of the songs were quite heavy, I guess. As a listener who knows Drexxx, I'll give a 7 out of 10. But yeah, definitely I can tell that you're trying out new things. And one day I hope you find like the style that really matches you and then what people will really enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you both. No, it's like I know it sounds like super selfish and self-indulgent to ask if we could do a review of my own album on the channel, but I'm glad that you guys not only enjoyed it, but like went through with it and spent the last like almost 2 hours just talking about my music. I've made sure to note all that down. So the next Drexxx drop is gonna be like absurd. We really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. So we're getting back on our grind, but I'm not gonna lie, school has been a little tough. Like, bro, the homies are growing up.
Bro.
So-
Bro, next year I'm a senior. That's
yeah,
crazy.
exactly, dude. That's mad. We're gonna work as hard as we can to get these uploads out to you guys on the weekends, but please like understand that sometimes like we're just gonna be like really overwhelmed with work. So yeah, we really enjoyed doing this and we hope to keep doing it throughout the year. All interaction, whether it's like a like, a comment, a subscription, you could DM us all individually. Our Instagrams are all on our YouTube page, or you can just like figure it out. I don't know. Just search us up. But yeah, this is the end of the My Last Fever Dream review by Drexxx. Look forward to new releases, and we thank you all so much for joining us here today. All right.
Running by myself, ain't no looking back. Checking on my health, no, I'm good at that. Running up a check, no, I'm good at that. Aiming at your neck, slow it at the back. Cook it to